Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming. My name's Clyde, and today I am joined by Jimmy Tremmel.
Hello everybody.
Michael Aston.
Hello.
And Matthew Ross.
Hello.
Hello. What was that? Hey,
Merry
sorry for the
Christmas. Or it's over now.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I was gonna say sorry for the late start. Ran into an audio issue that's kind of a holdover from the issue we had a couple weeks ago. Plus, it has something with this new Skype. Does not. Yeah. So. Whatever.
Stop messing with our stuff, everybody. We're doing podcasts on the internet for once a week that we try to do just for fun and entertainment to be really hard, okay?
It's making it almost like a full-time job for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. My goodness. Hey, did everybody have a good Christmas?
Absolutely.
Had a wonderful Christmas.
Well, that's good.
If you like minus 15 degree weather and your parents' heater dying, awesome.
I totally get you, Clyde. It is ridiculously cold here. It got down to 39 today.
Dude, I agree. That is freezing. Anything below when it hits 70, I have to put on a hoodie. You've seen me in Vegas in February. I'm still wearing a coat, right? Yes. And so now take that and multiply it by the 9th level of hell. And that was Christmas up here.
You guys are crazy.
What about you? What do you got?
Oh, weather-wise?
Yeah.
You know.
It's
30.
raining.
It's 30. It's not raining. Tomorrow's a rainy day.
Oh, okay.
And we got snow. And we got, black ice. Yeah, driving to work's fun. Yeah, it's all good.
I suppose I shouldn't tell you what it is where I'm at, huh?
You guys are all horrible.
See,
Yeah, for me, it's like 70 degrees. I was out playing golf in my shorts yesterday. So.
See, that's my kind of winter. It was one Christmas. We got snow there on Coronado Island, which was somebody lit off the AFFF hose reel on the flight deck, so there was foam all over the flight deck and the pier. That's as close to snow as I need to get on Christmas.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's cold here. I mean, I moved to Texas because I don't particularly like the cold. Well, one of the many reasons, and it gets down to like this. Well, the thing is that it was like 80 degrees like 4 days ago. So when you go from like 80 to 30, that's a pretty big difference.
Oh no, I agree, and like I said, I don't like that. Anything below, I'd say 68 is as low as I want to go. And yeah.
Now, what are you doing where you are?
I don't live here by choice.
I know. But do you have the heater on constantly in your house?
Yeah, you kind of have to, or you will die.
Okay.
It's literally minus 10 outside right now. If the heater wasn't on, we would have bigger problems than just audio.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Icicles forming on your beard.
I would be completely bundled up, and yeah.
Do you have a fireplace?
No. It's old house. It's got radiators, and the radiator is right there. So it actually gets
those ticking things. I've only been in the house once with a radiator. Scared the hell out of me when it went
this
off.
is the old hot water kind, so it doesn't get you don't really hear anything. Every once in a while you hear a gurgle from like, air bubbles.
It doesn't get too much, and the pressure release valve doesn't set off.
No, not like that.
Okay, I've experienced that once, and I didn't know what the heck was going on in my house.
Yeah, those are the steam radiators, because they have to have that relief valve so they don't explode.
Right, exactly. I get that now.
This is hot water, so it would be a lot like the heater in your car, how it pumps the hot water through the radiator, and then
Okay.
So this week in thermodynamics, common ways to heat your house and keep from dying if you live in the Midwest.
In the Mideast?
Mideast.
Yeah. They get cold nights there too, you know.
Oh yeah, they do. All right, guys. Hey, so this is officially the last Wednesday of the year.
Yes, it is.
So, we discussed maybe we should talk about some things that we thought were the best and the worst of the year. But before we get to that, there was one article that I saw that I thought was newsworthy. It's something that people, and especially me, have been complaining about for years. It says, according to this article, Amazon is finally releasing Prime Video app for Android TV devices.
Woohoo!
Hey!
Yay! That's wonderful. That means
about time.
The problem is,
it's going to work on my TV, my streaming device, right? I got the Mi box. Yeah,
right now, the app has been released, but it doesn't support any of the devices.
What?
including the Shield, which already has it.
But what?
Is this for future devices?
Are they pranking us?
I don't know. They it said that it says the official release said that it can now be enjoyed on all major Google platforms except Chromecast in over 200 countries, and territories around the world.
Disney gets it, IBM gets it, but not Microsoft. No.
And but when you go to the Play Store and try to download it, it says your device is not compatible.
Oh, okay.
So they screwed up. They screwed up.
I have a theory. No, this is them being poetic justice to them saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, but your device isn't compatible, Google." About the YouTube being on their devices. It's just total burn.
Yeah, so obviously...
and if that was true for 24 hours, I would say, good play, sir.
and the other follow-up question to that would be, do they sell any of those devices on Amazon?
They have started selling them again.
Yay.
I believe.
Now, this is exactly what I was hoping that would happen, is that these cooler heads would prevail and people putting things on other devices. This is good. I'm hoping that.
Oh,
did I lose something?
Yeah, you disappeared. We heard you drop and then come back up.
What?
That was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if, and I should have had this ready, but I was looking to see if I could pull this up, and I'm gonna go. Installed. Let me do this.
Amazon Instant Video.
It's Prime Video, I think. Video. Amazon cool. Prime Video. So if I click on it, it's installed, and it says for my Mi bot. Or here, actually, I'll put this on the screen. So you can see right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Of all my Google devices, my Android TV, this item is not compatible with your device, and that's Android TV.
They came out with the Prime Video app for Android a little while ago. This is the exact same app, and Yeah, I could see why they may have one that's that's not going to work. So maybe somebody's messed up here.
I don't know. But like I said, maybe it's wishful thinking. Maybe we can't trust it because this article is written by Babu Mohan, someplace in India. I don't know. But I saw this and I went, yay! And then I read where it says, but it doesn't work. And you can't download it. So
maybe it'll start working on January 1st.
Maybe. And we're, hope.
Isn't that when YouTube stops working on the Fire TV?
Maybe. Yeah. In theory, somewhere around there. So. Yeah.
Every time I turn on my Fire TV, or every time I go to YouTube on my Fire TV stick or my Fire TV, it tells me, you're not going to be able to use this. I'm like, well, yeah, thanks for telling me. That doesn't do me any good.
The squabble continues.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, with that behind us, guys, we should have a little bit of a chat and discuss, what do you guys think? 2017 is a year for cord cutting and streaming. How are things? Well,
we saw some pretty amazing things come out this year, streaming wise. We got a lot of different streaming services that launched this year, and ones that come immediately to mind is we have Hulu, the actual Hulu TV service. We have YouTube TV. We have little guys like Philo and what was the Tubi TV? No, not Tubi. The sports related one.
Fubu.
Fubu, Tubi.
Fubu. There's so many.
Fubu is for us by us.
Right.
Yeah.
Not us, but them us.
Yes. Okay.
Fubo.
Fubo. Yeah, it was Fubo.
We had the DirecTV launch happened beginning of this year. There have been a lot of various TV streaming services that came out this year, but I don't know. What did you guys think this year about all those different ones? Is there one that came out and rose to the top as the best, or is it one of the older ones that you thought were the best?
I was all ready to go into this and say DirecTV was terrible, as you spoke about last week. I can't get it to work here. It's getting really bad. I set myself or my parents up with a Roku, and it plays flawless at their house. So I think it has to do something with they're on Spectrum, and I'm on Comcast. So it's got to be something about my Comcast. But you would think with my business class, no bandwidth cap, and wide open pipes up and down, it should be good. But yeah, for some reason it hasn't been working good for me. But it worked flawless all weekend up there.
It's net neutrality, right? It's got to be that, Comcast.
Yeah.
Totally.
Perhaps so.
Well, considering that's under the old, this is streaming under the old laws. I'm glad they're changing it.
Yeah. So for me, I nearly right after it started, I went with Hulu Live TV, and I still use that. I think it's a good service, especially on the video on demand part of the service. That is excellent. I think they're right up there with Netflix. For the live TV part, it works okay. There are some channels that they have the live service where it kind of sputters sometimes, right? But and that can be kind of annoying at times. But overall, though, I'm happy with the service. I like it. I will always be a Hulu subscriber, maybe not to the live TV, but at least always a Hulu subscriber. I do like it. I've enjoyed the service. But with that said, I think I am going to look for something new in the new year.
Yeah. Well, It's I'm looking forward to see what YouTube TV can do in the new year for lots of people who are looking for their local channels, because that's their biggest pitch is local channels and great DVR. If they can once they get onto various devices like the Apple TV and on the Roku's, it would be an interesting one to go with. But which one do you think? So you really think that the DirecTV is the best one of them all, huh?
No, I was saying I originally thought it was the worst.
Okay.
Now I don't. I don't think it was the worst. I still like it better than PlayStation Vue and Sling.
Okay.
But I last week after the show I installed Philo, and it was so simple. It took me like literally 2 minutes to be up and running. And I like the way they're set up. They didn't ask me for any information except for I had to give them my phone number. They texted me a code. I typed it in on my TV, and then boom, I was in, and that was it. And
I actually had discussions with family members, and they were all saying, "Man, I wish we could do something because I wish I could get my food TV on this, but I can't get it on anything but unless I buy the long, really big, expensive package." And that's the one thing I wish I had. I said, "Check out Philo."
Yeah,
And
I mean it's cheap.
This is really cool.
It's like $16. I mean, they didn't even want to know my name until after I was up and running. Then they were like, "Okay, you can go to like the profile page and like actually fill stuff out if you want." but they were very explicit. They didn't want my address, they didn't want my billing info, they didn't want anything until after the trial's up, which the trial would have been up today. I think I got an email from them saying, "Hey, so what'd you think about the test drive?
You want to keep pay? Go for it."
I'm not gonna because again, not a big fan of live TV, but
well, that's a good point. What you just said there, Clyde. Live TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as cord cutters, and this whole year of 2017, I've been a cord cutter pretty much the whole year, and I have to say, once you completely cut the cord, you kind of get away from actually watching live TV at all, right? I don't really watch live streaming. Maybe occasionally on a sporting event, maybe occasionally if I want to watch some news or something of that sort. But the live streaming is less important to me than the on-demand content, right? Or the original content, in the case of Hulu or Amazon or Netflix, right? So, I don't know. I'm starting to even question if I even really need a live streaming service at all, right? And just go with just the on-demand service.
Yeah, and that was the thing I was trying to explain to my mom, was not to worry about. You gotta get rid of the mentality of what's on and right now.
Right.
And when do I need to watch this and where? Just get rid of that and
Right.
Figure out what do you want to watch. If you could watch anything right now, what is it that you want to watch? And then just watch that.
Right.
And I get the blank, like deer in the headlights look. And
so I think, one of the things that I like about PlayStation Vue, and that's my choice. I tried Hulu the most, was the other one that I used quite a bit, and I hated it. I thought it was awful. My understanding is that that's different. The experience is very different on different devices, but on the Fire TV, it's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But with the PlayStation Vue, I actually kind of like that it has a live TV feature, right? Like, because it has live TV, and so if I turn it on, and I was watching HGTV last time, then I've got HGTV running, and I kind of like that. It's for certain types of stuff, background type noise, kind of something to watch while you're doing something else, doing the dishes or whatever. We don't do that a lot, but it seems like that used to be something that we did a lot was, you'd have the TV on HGTV or Food Network or something like that. Or the news, the talk TV shows or whatever those things are. And you would do stuff around the house while the TV was running, and it was just whatever was on, the channel that you tend to like. And PlayStation Vue still leaves that functionality there, and a lot of the other services do as well. I kind of like it. I kind of think it still has its place. I tend to use music a lot more than before, but now YouTube's going to go away, so that's not going to be an option as much. Maybe I'll switch back to using my smart TV for that kind of stuff. I don't know.
So, out of all the different streaming services out there, which one do you feel like was the most watched, most innovative, or just your favorite of the year? I mean, did you guys enjoy PlayStation Vue or DirecTV Now as your favorite, or Hulu?
Well, I would sum it up like this. For on-demand content, I would say Hulu is my favorite.
Okay.
For best value of a streaming service, I would say that would be Amazon Prime. and for best original content, I would say that would be Netflix.
Ah, wow! So depending on what you want, you have your whole smorgasbord of stuff.
So in other words, they all have their strengths, right? So I mean, it depends on which one of those is more important to you. I subscribe to all of those, and for those reasons, the strengths that they have. But if you was going to just pick one of those, I don't know. I guess it'd depend on which one of those three is more important to you.
If you're only picking one, right? Like that kind of depends on your motivation. If you're picking one based on price, you probably have Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime all the way.
There's
Absolutely.
no point on picking anything else because you can get enough content through that free. But for me, I think one of the things, the whole idea, Matt, that you brought up about all of these new services is important, and to me, that's the thing of the year. Like the biggest thing of the year was all of the new streaming options that creators have for getting good quality content, and there's a lot of different varieties. Every single one of the services has something that they are particularly good at, that they probably excel beyond everybody else. And maybe not every single one, but most of them. Like Fubo has a broader sports package than a lot of the others. Hulu has an innovative interface, even though it worked awful on the Fire TV, and I felt like it was kind of broken. At the same time, it was definitely innovative. The grouping sports team stuff together and having college football all grouped together, where you can find all of the college football games that are going on now or in the near future in one place. I mean, it's a really good idea. The execution, I felt, was not good at all. Again, on the Fire TV, but it was a really good idea. So they had something that they did particularly well. PlayStation Vue, I think, is just the easiest to use in my opinion. It's got the easiest, most straightforward DVR. It's got a good menu, and the menu is dramatically different on various different devices, and it is way more intuitive on the Fire TV and easier to use on the Fire TV than it is on my Roku. I used it on my Roku the other day because my kids were using my main TV, and I really don't like the PlayStation Vue interface on the Roku. So they all have different strengths, different devices, different types of things. Ultimately, on the Fire TV, I think the PlayStation Vue has the best experience, and I like it a lot.
So I'm going to mention one service. It's not exactly the same kind of service. It's more of a TV service that kind of launched this year. Not a studio. It was more of a movie service that launched this year that I think really was probably the greatest thing to happen all year long, which is Movies Anywhere. I think that launch of Movies Anywhere kind of changed the game, especially for all the groups that signed up to share their movies on it. Doesn't matter which kind of service you're running on. Doesn't matter if you have already purchased things on multiple different ecosystems. You can watch whatever you have already purchased on any other ecosystem because of this combined interface on Movies Anywhere, which is amazing.
They took the existing ultraviolet voodoo thing and then made it bigger.
Yes, and They, instead of being just Vudu and Ultraviolet, they went ahead and went with the big guns like Apple and Amazon and Google and everybody. So it's just an amazing way to get all your movies wherever they are. We need to get the last two companies to join that, which were they? Lionsgate and I don't remember who else, but that would be amazing. And if anybody could take their movies anywhere, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's huge. I the first time, because I was on the Disney Movies Anywhere app for a long time,
right?
And we liked that and thought it was a really great service once they got it all on Android and you could download your movies on Android and stuff. That was huge. I loved it. The kids really liked being able to download their movies and take them with them or stream them from their tablet, you know, in the other room. So that was really good. When it switched to Movies Anywhere, then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, Harry Potter movies are in here now too.
Right.
And so that just changed the game for my daughter, especially because the entire world revolves around Star Wars and Harry Potter, and now they're in one place. How can things get better?
And as far as a streaming service, though, that would be, I think, should get the absolute worst. I believe they were called Full Screen. I think we talked about them earlier in the year. They were a free commercial supported streaming service that they shut down like a week or so ago. So I would say that's, I mean, and I believe the name was Full Screen, and that's how, like, I guess why they shut down is because I don't even remember what their name
Nobody
was.
watched it. And they didn't
I
make
got
any
an
money.
email. I had signed up to try it out at some point. I created an account to test it, and they sent me an email saying, "Yep, sorry, thanks for trying, but we're shutting down." So
well, it's nice that we got all of those different options. That we got a lot of variety and different services, but the market is pretty saturated now. I would say that there's enough variety and enough different options and enough different price points that it's going to be very challenging for newcomers and even for existing companies. That I expect some sort of consolidation here in the next year or two, because there's quite a few of them out there, and while there are differentiating features of all of them, those differentiating features are going to go away slowly because, you know, companies are going to get better apps on more devices. So Hulu TV's app is probably going to get better on the Fire TV.
See, I see that a little differently. With net neutrality going away, I think they want it to stay saturated because that's going to give them different pricing schemes now, right? They'll be able to charge for all those things independently, is what I think. So I think they're going to keep it, you know, saturated and keep a lot of all the content providers are all going to have their own streaming service. I think it's going to go the other way.
I doubt it. I see where you're coming from.
We're going back to this is a complete conversation for another time, but we're
going to get
back,
political with it, but I do think that it's going to be more streaming services rather than less.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say there's going to be more, but all we're doing is going back to the way it used to be 2 years ago or whatever, you know, which was perfectly fine before. It's just that neither option. You got one side says this is the way that we do it. The other side says this is the way we do it. Neither way is actual neutrality. And with the current bill the current version that was repealed, didn't actually do anything to prevent, didn't do anything to prevent companies from doing what they wanted to begin with. So, but like I said, that's a conversation for a completely different episode.
Clyde, let's recognize the fact that this discussion, net neutrality or whatever we want to end up calling it, was a big story this year, especially for streaming.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Let's acknowledge the fact that it is a big deal. We'll continue to watch it. We'll continue to see what we can do to report on it as it goes on. And it actually finds things that really are affected by it, not necessarily all this hoopla we've gone through right now.
No.
I could talk everybody's ears off about it, but we're not going to do that today.
It's theoretically a big deal, and
very much so.
Whether or not it really is, right? Like, at this point, there's been no impact. But
Yeah, we're right now we're going back to 2012.
When Comcast stops me from streaming Hulu without paying more extra, then let's talk.
Yeah, but they weren't doing that before either.
They weren't doing that before. Be aware there were some things like that, but that's okay. So obviously we've got these awesome streaming services. Did anybody have any ideas on what new devices that came out, new gadgets, and which ones were your favorite for the year? For example, we have everything from the little adapter that attaches to your remote to actually control your TV, which now is built into a lot of your remotes now, which is kind of nice. And but I think the side click is a nice little device, and other little useful devices that you got around the house for streaming. But in my opinion, there's one clear winner of the streaming devices, which is, of course, the smart speaker, which are everywhere now.
Oh! I thought you meant the iHome and the Google speaker that we talked about last week that haven't come out yet.
No.
You mean like the Google Home?
Yeah, so like Google Home and
Amazon Echo, yeah. I think that those are probably the biggest things that you go. Sorry, Beam just made me laugh. I think those are the biggest new technology to enter the streaming world for this year that have really caught on. I think the Echo has been around a little bit longer than that, but this year it really became a thing that everybody's starting to play with.
Well, because the price finally got to the point where, you know.
Thank goodness.
At $29, I think I'm gonna go out and buy another one before the price goes up next week. So,
yeah, I got an Echo Dot from my company for not everybody didn't, but one of the prizes that they gave away at the company party was an Echo Dot. So I got one of those, and that was it's now in my office. I actually hooked it up this evening, and I think that those things are really cool. I don't consider them streaming related. I mean, there are some streaming tie-ins and stuff. Like I can, if I have the right devices, I can control.
If you want to listen to Daily Tech headlines,
streaming audio, absolutely. That's why I kind of put them in there. You can control your TV with it as well. That's kind of gets the streaming video side a little bit. But yeah, you're right. It's not primarily a video streaming device.
I've got a Bluetooth enabled speaker, a sound bar kind of thing for Christmas. That was one of my Christmas gifts, and it does not integrate to my Echo, which is a little bit annoying, but it does have Bluetooth capability, so I can stream to it and stuff like that. But that to me was the device of the year for me, because that made the biggest impact on my streaming or viewing entertainment from a device perspective.
Now, your Bluetooth speaker is? Now I'm just curious. How's the delay on it when you're streaming? I mean, is it syncing up okay with your TV?
For my TV, it's audio or optical audio output.
Okay, great.
So my TV connects via optical, and then the Bluetooth, the sub actually though is wireless. So the sub connects wirelessly, and I've never noticed any kind of latency at all between the sub and the main soundbar. When I do Bluetooth, from my phone to the speaker, or whatever device I would connect via Bluetooth, then I can play audio that way and listen to music via that solution. Though again, I haven't really done that much other than to experiment, because I use YouTube for most of my audio viewing anyways. And at least for the next couple of days, I can do that directly from my Fire TV.
Hopefully that all goes away and it's all going to be okay. Hopefully it's all gets figured out soon. Well, that's cool. Anybody? Okay. Other than that, actual streaming devices. Did anybody have any picks for what they felt like was the coolest stream?
What? I was going to say that was the thing. This year, there wasn't really anything new. The only thing that was the Air TV, which I would put as probably the worst, just because they eventually came out with no, and then by the time they reached the market, there's no fanfare. I finally saw one in the wild yesterday. I think it was. I was at Best Buy and there was one sitting on the shelf all by itself, and I think it had been sitting there for a while. And I looked at it and I went, I really want to buy you, just so I can, figure out. But I don't like Sling, so that's the thing. Is it's tied directly into Sling TV, and if you don't like Sling TV, then it's pointless. I really like the remote, that toy-looking blue and white remote with the big chunky. It did, and I really liked it, and I thought it was cool. But now they have the Air TV that's just it doesn't have the streaming. It's just it hooks. It's just the antenna piece.
Okay.
That's what lets you watch stream your stuff from your antenna throughout the house over Wi-Fi. Which I just saw that the other day, and I thought that's actually kind of cool because it'd be like the Channel Master or one of those. But
yeah, for streaming devices, I mean, for me, I don't know. I didn't really see any big innovations this year on the devices. Not really.
Nothing really big innovation-wise, but we did get some new releases, and many of them were just rehashes of old stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we got announcements for the Apple thing, but I wouldn't count that as this year because it hasn't sold. It's not for sale yet, is it? Or
yes, it is.
Wait, that's right, it is. Okay. So Jimmy, I'm surprised you're not saying, hey, the best device.
Well, I was about to say that, right? I was about to say that there's no big innovation, but my top two devices are the two that I use, which is the Apple TV. And the reason why I would pick it is because the UI is great, right? I mean, I've seen other devices. I also have a Roku. I think the UI on the fourth and fifth generation Apple TVs are top of the class, right? But then when you look at the Roku also has a nice, simple, plain UI, easy to use, costs less than the Apple TV.
About $100 less.
Has all the streaming services the same as the Apple TV. So it's I mean, how could you go wrong with it, right? I mean, and I will say this: the video quality between Roku and Apple TV, they're equal. They're equally as good.
Yeah, because
right?
Apple finally upgraded to the Roku quality.
Yeah. See, I was a little excited. I mean, I agree. Basically, what we got was the next generation, incremental improvements.
Sure.
And in some cases, not even incremental improvements. Basically, just the same device with maybe a tiny bit more RAM or a faster processor or whatever, but effectively no improvement. I was excited about the new Fire TV with the with HDR built in and stuff like that. I was planning on picking that up since I have a 4K HDR enabled TV, but then they lose YouTube, so I was like, yeah, I won't pick that up yet.
Yeah, maybe you need a Roku Ultra.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly will not buy it so long as YouTube isn't going to be an option, because YouTube is it's one of the things we use more than anything else.
Yep.
Like that's 25% of my viewing at least. Listening to music through YouTube or watching, podcasts on YouTube through my Fire TV. And if I lose that, then I don't really have a reason to be using the Fire TV at that.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because as I mentioned earlier, I got a Roku for my parents' house, and so I picked up the new Stick Plus,
streaming Stick Plus for $70 or $60,
no,
or even less.
It was $50.
$50.
$50. I was like, okay, because I was gonna get the other one below it, which was $39, and then I saw the one next to it and went, oh wait, it's only $49. Oh, okay. So yeah, it was a no-brainer, and that does 4K and HDR. It's the one that's got the wireless built into the dongle or into the cord. And yeah, I was skeptical. I thought it was going to be all big and clunky, but it's actually pretty decent. And So I finally got to play with, and this is the thing in devices I will put as the best of the year. I got to play with the new remote that has the power button and the volume button for the TV.
You want it, don't you?
That's all I've ever wanted.
That's what you wanted.
It's exactly what I wanted, and I took it out of the box, and I prefer my remote has the hard plastic buttons. I prefer that over the soft rubber buttons, but I'm willing to compromise because that one was thin and it's just comfortable. And I was walking around the house with it in my pocket, and I could just pause, and then I turn off the TV when I didn't want to or when I wanted to because it's a plasma. Don't want to leave it on, the menu. And yeah, it's about time.
So
And
does that one have the remote headphone jack into the remote?
it does not have the headphone jack. I think that's the one thing you give up. But I will gladly give up the headphone jack for the power and to have the buttons on the side do the TV.
The headphone jack and the remote saved my in-law who's having a hard time hearing now because he could go. He decided, okay, I want to just go somewhere and watch a movie because you guys are doing something I'm not interested. So he went downstairs. So here, plug your headphones into this and enjoy the show. And he said, I need this.
Yeah,
I need this at home.
and that's what I was saying because if you need the headphone jack. It's definitely
Ultra or something.
Yeah, you could just throw it on the floor like I just did. But if you need the headphone jack, that is awesome and it works perfect. But if you don't need the headphone jack, but you also got to remember with the Roku, you can pair multiple remotes to your Roku. So you could have one of the old ones with the headphone jack.
Or even if you're like me and your remote gets lost for like 3 months, you can just use your tablet or
your phone.
Oh, but that's the nice thing about these is they don't get lost for 3 months because you push the button on the thing and then it starts screaming at you.
Mine's just old enough that it doesn't do that.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's the nice thing about the new ones. So you need a newer Roku.
I wished that I would have had that. We finally found it. Like for some reason, my wife finally was just like, "Come and move the sofa," and we went through the effort of detaching the pieces of the sofa so that I could lift them up and move them. And we did find it. It was indeed back there behind the sofa, but it was lost for like 2 months. But it was no big deal because I was just like, okay, well, the kids has a tablet, just add the Roku app to their tablet and they control it from there.
Yep.
And even my
Genius.
5-year-old got the idea that, Daddy, I can watch this in here because I can watch everything on here that I can watch in there. Fire TV versus Roku. When YouTube goes away.
Yeah.
Say on Amazon, figure it out.
They'll figure it out. I guarantee it. Other than that, the only other thing that I was hoping possibly we could talk about is that I wanted to know if you guys were particularly enjoying any music streaming services over any others. Is there one that you guys feel like has been rocking for you guys, as the one you tend to use the most?
For me, I use 2 of them. I use Apple Music, and I also use Pandora.
Pandora.
Right. So those are the 2 I use. I mean, I wouldn't say that there's either one of those are superior to any of the others, right? They all seem to be on par with each other, right?
Has music channels finally become just anybody can do it, or is Tidal still a thing? That's the question, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an audiophile, perhaps, but perhaps that would make a difference. But then you got to have the equipment to go with it too, right? So, but I think for most people, any of the services, or if it's Apple Music, or any of the others,
I'm still 100% Spotify.
Yeah, I think Spotify
yeah.
is the one that is like the universal everybody loves.
Because
one
they
level.
don't limit what you can do. You know, because like the ones that were previously big, like iHeartRadio or Rhapsody, that you know people were using because they didn't know any better. You don't have a choice. You say, it says, what do you want to listen to? And you give them a band. You say Willie Nelson. It says, okay, here's a bunch of people that we would say are like Willie Nelson, but we might play a Willie Nelson song in there someplace.
They'll throw a couple in there. Yeah,
Whereas I've been using Spotify for years. Once it, because it was a British thing. And so it wasn't here in the U.S. for so long. And when it finally launched here, because on the PC, there is no limit. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to pay anything. I listen to whatever I want, whenever I want. And because of that, it knows what I like. When I'm on the go in my car, I can use it on the app. Yes, it only lets me go in shuffle mode, but I can listen to a specific album in shuffle mode, or they're really good with their playlists. And so like I say I don't know what I want to listen to, so I go into playlists, and it makes a daily playlist for me every day, and it's based on stuff that it knows I like, and they put in a whole bunch of new stuff, and it introduces me to there's so many new bands that I've listened to over the last couple of years, all because Spotify said, hey, you'll like these guys.
Yeah.
So.
The only other thing I'll add, on the, I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not. I don't think we did, but, Apple just acquired Shazam, and don't know what's going to come out of that yet. They've not really said anything.
Was that
about
the movie
it,
starring Sinbad?
I
think it was starring Shaq, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was Kazam.
Kazam is what that was. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's the music recognition service, Shazam. And
I believe Apple was using Shazam for their Siri music recognition already, so they were already integrated into it, so they just bought it for a song.
Right. Yeah, they were using the hooks in the OS.
Which song?
Well, ask Shazam, it'll tell you.
Well, for me, I'm using Google Play through my YouTube Red subscription.
Really?
Which I didn't even know that I got when I signed up for YouTube Red. But apparently, I get Google Play with my YouTube Red. So
you also get YouTube Red with your Google Play, so it's all cool.
Exactly. And I'm also using Amazon Unlimited, which is a little silly to have both. And so then I watch with YouTube. So I probably say I listen to music 75% via YouTube, utilizing Red, so I don't have to deal with the commercials. And then I just piggyback some of the other stuff when I want to listen to something that doesn't happen to have a video, which is actually a surprisingly small amount of stuff.
True.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing I'll add about the music services, Apple, Apple's getting into the video content business, right? We did talk about that in one of the shows this year. And so they're going to be bundling that in with the Apple Music, with the content that they come. And I'm pretty well convinced that the other guys will start to do that as well. I'm sure Google will. I'm pretty sure Amazon will as well. Google
is, right? I mean, you get YouTube Red with Google Play and vice versa.
Right.
So, and all YouTube Red's original content, which is
just like you get Amazon Unlimited with your Prime subscription.
Right. So my point is, the music subscription stuff is going to become a bundled service with this video content is what it's going to be. Right. So that's what it's going to evolve in, I'm pretty sure.
And I will say, I'm not surprised, Mike, that you're using the Google Play over the Amazon Unlimited. Because
I was also surprised by that.
I said I'm not surprised.
Oh, you're not surprised. I'm surprised.
When I found out that I was getting that, I tried it, and the music selection is not good. It might be good for some people, but I mean, all I wanted to do was I was like, okay, fine. I see REMs in there. Let me see. Oh, there's only like 2 REM albums it'll actually let you listen to.
Wow.
And
really?
it was like, yeah, it's very restrictive from what my usage. And I gave
you're
up.
talking about the Prime Music, right?
Or what? Yeah, the whatever it is that comes with Prime. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the Prime Music is pretty limited, and so I actually am paying for the Amazon.
Oh, you're
Unlimited,
paying for a different service.
which
Okay.
is a whole lot more. The reason I actually subscribe to that is because that gives me multiple devices and multiple simultaneous users, and so I have an Echo, and while I'm using my Echo, I couldn't listen to Amazon Music at work if my wife was listening to it on her Echo.
Gotcha.
Or now I have an Echo Dot in my office that goes through my computer speakers, and so I can do. Now we could be listening to different things, and before we couldn't. We could only listen to it in one location at a time, and it would tell you somebody else is listening to music. Do you want to shut them off? So I went ahead and with the Echo.
What is with that question? I'm sorry, just a second. Okay, somebody else is listening to music. Totally cool, making sense. Do you want to shut them off? It's like, do you want to be a jerk?
Exactly. Like, I've never clicked yes, because who would do that? It's like, oh, they're listening to music. Just, do you want to take over and tell them, yeah, screw you. I want to listen now. It's my turn.
There's got to be better verbiage for that. That sounds less offensive. I don't know. Would you like to take over? Is a little slightly better.
I may be saying it wrong. The point is that it's rude. I would never do that. So I've never done it, but I've had it happen to me a few times, and so it was annoying. I went ahead and I paid for it. I didn't even realize I had Google Play with my Amazon Red for a long time, and then my friend was like, "Yeah, why aren't you listening to your music there?" And I was like, "Oh,
And
well,
I've been using Google Play Music for years because that's where I store all my music.
Yeah.
I upload anytime I buy a new CD, it automatically gets uploaded to but I don't listen to when I'm using Play Music, I'm not listening to their catalog. I'm listening to my music from their catalog. And it's always been great, except for the few times that the matching isn't quite right. So it's a studio album, but the song that it plays back for me is a live version, and that
Can
makes
you
me angry.
fix that? You can't tell them like, hey, no, that's not the same song. Use my version that I uploaded.
Well, usually I find it when I'm driving, and there's nothing I can do about it, and I just have to be angry and go to the next track. But yeah, I think there are ways that you can go in, but I don't know. But yeah, I would say though, as far as the music streaming services go, absolute worst right now for 2017, Prime Music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
I get way more for free through Spotify, even if I do have to shuffle.
Spotify, especially if you're looking for free, Spotify and there's all the different services out there. Spotify is really hard to beat.
Yeah, Pandora is pretty good at that as well.
Pandora has got an amazing. I haven't tried their new system where they actually allow you to actually pick your songs, and it's becoming more Spotify-like. But the old Pandora
old Pandora was. I hated it.
So I actually liked it and I disliked it. Actually, I have a Pandora station that I've finagled into an exact same 12 songs all over again. It doesn't go outside of that, and that it's a techno channel, so I could just work listening to that techno music all day long, and I liked it. But I tried to recreate that on Google Play Music. It wants to veer off too much. You're trying to thumbs up and thumbs down thing. It keeps on wanting you move around on that stuff.
M-Beam, to answer your question, I do not heart radio. No. My the stereo in my car has Rhapsody or one of those and iHeartRadio built in, and they are both turned off at a hardware level or a software level. Either way, I went into the options that said no.
So you enjoy the chat room. Sometimes fun things happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, so I'd say if you guys had to pick one thing that was the overall best thing for 2017, what would it be?
The overall best thing, or the overall best thing related to streaming?
Related to our show, things that we would talk about.
Sorry, I just had to make sure because Trump and all.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, what the heck? For me,
I just wanted to throw that out there for fun, just because. For me, it's got to be the proliferation of streaming options for alternatives to cable that give you local channels, stuff like that. Viable PlayStation View with DVR, Sling TV, DVR. I think the DVRs came out this year, right? Direct TV, blah 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 blah. All awesome.
I'd also mention too that the cell phone companies starting to bundle these services, with T-Mobile, with Netflix, and then AT&T with DirecTV Now, right? Bundling those services together. Bundling, cord cutting with your smartphone, I think is a pretty good idea. And then T-Mobile themselves too are announced that they too are going to get into a streaming service themselves.
Yeah, well, we'll see what that looks like next year. That might be something we talk really, really deeply about next year. We might even do it as a 30-day challenge. We'll see. For me, the thing that's the best thing to happen this year, I would have to give it to probably a couple of shows that have been coming out this year that have been really amazing. For me, it was The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which we've only watched a couple of episodes of. But that show is hilarious, I have to say.
It ends strong.
It's not. It's besides a couple of us still trying to do, my wife and I are still trying to do X-Files. It's so hard, guys.
Well, you've got like 11 seasons and the new season's coming.
Know.
New season's coming.
We're trying to catch up to watch a new season. That's
How far are you now?
Oh, season 6, 7.
Oh, I think you're about the point when Mulder leaves.
Yeah,
you can just skip it. Watch the movie.
We have a list.
Make sure
we
you
have a
watch
list
the
of.
movies.
And I've seen the first one, but we have a very specific list of the actually important video ones to watch, and so we're able to skip them around and just get only certain ones in. But the other shows that we've watched when we get the chance, we have that like The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and we've also just picked up every week when it came out we would watch Outlander. That's a really good show if you like that kind of stuff. So there's so much TV, guys. How can we all watch all this TV? I can't do it. I mean, I can't.
That's why
it's the reason why I prefer video on demand vision, right?
Any one service really should be sufficient for somebody. I mean, Netflix alone has more content to keep you entertained.
I find myself not able to find anything on Netflix. The only reason I was watching Netflix these last couple days is because the new season of Travelers came out. But now I'm back to I don't have anything on Netflix I want to watch. Yeah.
That's because you're broken, Clyde.
I just don't have the stuff I like anymore.
That's the best.
But no, I would say for me the best thing this year was the 8K TVs and those OLED panels at
Oh.
CES.
CES at the beginning of the year, huh?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to go here in about another week, go see more screens that I can't afford to even think about.
All right. I would guess that somebody comes out with something that's more than 8K. So
Oh, not yet.
No, don't. I mean, somebody's gonna say, "Oh, and we've developed this TV and it's 12K."
Well,
there is.
yeah.
Oh, they're too late.
Yeah, and that's why I was complaining, because 4K, 4K is 1080p screens. 8K would be for 4K screens, right? But then they went to like 12K, which is like weird.
Nah.
It should be 16.
You need to go 16K. Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. Someone announced 12K a while back, and I was railing on that because, I mean, what kind of format? I mean, what would the aspect ratio be?
Well, you go from it basically
LG.
went from 2K, right? 2K to 4K to 8K. So the next one should be 64K.
Oh no, sorry. Samsung is developing an 11K. And that's why I was like,
Oh,
what?
Yeah, the pixels don't. You can't divide by 2.
I was like, the math. I'm not good at math, and that just breaks my brain.
maybe it's not a binary 11.
That'd be 3.
Oh, and I remember what we were talking. The reason we talking about it was because back in October, YouTube was allowing up to 12K resolution on there. I think that's how we ended up talking about it. And it was like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But oh good.
I think the CES was definitely one of the highlights of the year. Some of the things that I saw there, including some of the VR related stuff, was super awesome. 8K TVs do look unbelievable, and I look forward to seeing what new stuff there is at CES in 2 weeks now. Yeah, I think 2 weeks. But
I leave next Sunday, not this coming Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the 8th, 9th, something like that.
Yeah, I fly out on the 7th.
But the thing for me, like, speaking overall, I also, I mentioned the hardware that I thought was the biggest hardware, but as I mentioned, Stranger Things 2 was the streaming show of the year for me.
Wow, it's a good show.
Absolutely.
Forgot all about it.
I don't know if that even made it in my top 10. I liked it.
Back to earlier comment.
I didn't love it as much as I loved season 1. Not enough evil Ted Danson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's Matthew Modine. He just looks like an evil version of Ted Danson. But yeah, it was okay.
It was almost as good as the first one. I would agree, maybe a little bit less, but not that much less.
I think the reason I love the first one so much is because it came out of nowhere. Had no expectation, no nothing. It was just like, oh, okay.
Well, the thing is that even though the video quality, the show quality, the writing quality, the acting quality, everything, in my opinion, matched the first season, you can't recreate that moment of experiencing something that you can't possibly expect or anticipate and have it unfold the same way again. So even like I said, I thought it matched bit for bit the first season. It was not as exciting and as amazing and as
I just didn't feel as sucked into it as I was with the first season, where I actually took like a while to watch it, where normally if I like a show, I'll just sit down and watch it. Like, I'm done with Travelers. That came out yesterday. But
yeah, I mean, I have to say, with the original content in general this year, I mean, the original content, I mean, it was getting stronger even last year, but this year, I mean, I think it's definitely coming to its own. And, and you got content providers like, CBS coming out with that new series of Star Trek like they did and offering it on the streaming only service, right? So, I mean, that's, I mean, yeah, they're making you have to subscribe to that to get to watch it, and all. But I mean, I think that's the way it's going to go, though, right? I think they're just blazing the trail for everybody else, right? That's essentially the way it's going to go. I mean, the only way you can get Stranger Things is to subscribe to Netflix, right?
No, you can buy it. I mean, I don't understand.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could probably,
which is a little crazy to me. I
right.
Go to Target and you see like 1,000 VHS style DVD cases sitting there with Stranger Things on it, and you're like, why is there like a pallet of these things sitting here? Who's gonna buy that? But you can buy it.
Yeah.
The thing for me is I don't have a problem with them releasing that show only to CBS All Access. I just have a problem that they released it to CBS All Access. Any other streaming service that doesn't suck would be fine with me, but it's just such a bad service. At least my experience was such that
I've not tried that one yet, but
jeez,
but I do understand that the series is pretty good.
I would love to watch that show as much as the first half of the first episode kind of upset me when I watched it. It was like things are not. They're messing with my formula here. I didn't watch the second half because you have to watch it on the streaming service. And so they totally use it as a way to drag people to pay for the streaming service. And I did not appreciate that. So I said, nope, I'm voting with my dollar and saying I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I would love to watch it sometime, but I can wait. I'm a patient guy. So
ultimately, the problem is that the streaming service isn't good enough for people to pay for on its own. Like, there's no other redeeming value to the streaming service. That there's good stuff on there, but it's just not enough, and there's all kinds of issues with it to basically hold that show that's like the kind of show that's
so what if they came out with 5 more shows like that, and released those, like, say, next year? Would that be, instead didn't raise the price of the streaming service? Would that be?
Now you're starting to provide a actually compelling reason to have their service, and not just one show in order to pull people in. Though, again, I mean, they still need to address some of the issues they have with the service, the commercial problems, and because there's no commercial-free option.
Really? I didn't know that.
And they're awful. Like, it's the same commercial like 100 times.
Oh my God!
It drove me crazy to watch. I mean, literally, in a 1-hour show, you'd have 10 commercials, or whatever normal number of commercials you have in a show, and it was the same 3 commercials for a minute and a half or 2 minutes.
Well, can we just buy the new Star Trek show then? I think maybe that would be the better option, right?
When it becomes available.
It's like if it came available on
Amazon
DVD or Amazon Video or whatever, and I'd pay for it. But
right.
Join
and CBS doesn't have a good track record of making that stuff available.
True.
Yeah.
So
the service is just fundamentally flawed, and to pay that much money for a service that has
I would consider it once the entire season becomes available and I could turn on the service and binge it. Commercials or not, that'd be fine, but be able to sit down for a weekend and watch an entire season and then turn it off, maybe.
That's what I'm doing with Stars. Although,
yeah, I know, but I have a feeling that CBS will go ahead and come up and say, yeah, you can watch the 5 most recent episodes. Nope, can't watch the first ones anymore.
Yeah, that's another one of those things that you can't watch the whole season. there's all kinds of issues with that service that drive me crazy. Let me pay an extra $5 a month. I'd pay twice as much to not have to deal with the commercials.
Right.
If they included the whole season of their shows.
Right.
No.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Showtime for me. I'll subscribe for about 2 or 3 months to watch the show Billions, and then after that, I cancel the service.
When's that coming back?
I think pretty soon. I think like February or
I've been
something
going
like.
through withdrawals on that show.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, I mean, CBS shot themselves in the foot to the point that I literally don't watch any CBS content anymore.
Oh yeah. They made it impossible for me years ago, so that's why I haven't watched anything from CBS in at least 4 years.
Yeah. And I loved a lot of their shows. I just gave up on them.
I have to say, that's I can't disagree with what you all were saying there, because they had a show back when it was new. They had this show. It starred one of the Lost stars. Let's see, what was it called? It was called Perfect something.
Perfect Strangers. His long lost cousin comes over from like someplace.
No, not that one.
I love that show.
But it's
that just came on, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
after that.
I can't remember the exact title of the show. Is Perfect something, and one of the Lost stars was in this show. But anyway, they wouldn't allow it onto Netflix, right? So you couldn't see it any other way. You couldn't even buy the thing, right?
Perfect Citizen?
No, I don't think that was it. But anyway, it is a show by CBS, right? When it had Perfect in the title. I think it may still be on now, but it's. But anyway, they didn't let you get it in any way other than just watching it live on television or something. And then finally, after they had about 6 seasons out or something like that, they started streaming the first season on Netflix. And by that time, I'd lost interest and said,
exactly.
Well, I've already went this long without it, so who cares now, right?
Exactly. It's like I watched Big Bang Theory for a while. I'll never go back to catch up because at this point, I care less.
It's turning into...
They jumped the shark with the wedding and...
Oh, okay.
I'm asking, did they jump the shark with the wedding and now
it's turned into how are we domesticating our lives? Which is... It's perfectly funny because it's a nerdy topic because nerds get domesticated, of course, like everybody else. But that's fine. It's wild though.
Yes,
I suppose you're right. No, it's fine. It's the same thing. Nothing. The formula doesn't change at all. The show is perfectly fine, and it's just as upsetting to us nerds as it always has been. So yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Well, guys.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so unless anybody's got any last words. Oh, I will say my worst, in my opinion, the worst thing, 2017.
What?
YouTube TV still is not available on Roku or Apple TV.
Agreed.
And
they need to put it on those.
Yeah. And
or Fire
can't try
TV,
it.
but
that's never going to happen.
That's a battle.
Yeah.
All right. At least, but I mean, there's been no promises for that. They've been telling us since like summer that it's coming soon to the Roku, and then now last week we find out sometime in 2018.
It's been delayed until next year.
Yeah. Whatever. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. All of you out there in Chatrealm, thanks so much for sticking with us through the beginning difficulties. We are back every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. But This coming Sunday for New Year's Eve, we will be participating in the New Year's Eve Diamond Club Streamathon. I don't know if the official times have been posted yet, but I believe we are going on at 7:30 Central, or is it 8:30 Central? I don't know, but I'll have to double check that. Check if you wanna know. Want to come check us out? Just check our Twitter feed at the VOD Squad, and we'll post the official times there. Oh, hey, and Beam just put a link in the chat to the official schedule. We will be talking some VOD Squad stuff, raising some money for charity. And then also there will be a special movie party later that night. If that's your thing and you want to come waste some time after your New Year's festivities are over, watch Thanksgiving 3. It's going to be awesome. And yeah.
Looks like the time is going to be 16:30 to 17:30 PST.
So 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. All right, rock on. Thank you guys, and I think with that, let's close this down.
Well, guys, have a good night.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
So, was it persons of interest?
Persons